Nvidia briefly became the first company to reach a $4 trillion market cap. The rally in its stock meant the chipmaker has become the world's most valuable company, surpassing Microsoft and Apple. Nvidia, which has benefited from demand for AI chips, saw shares surge in recent months despite geopolitical tensions and chip trade restrictions, which have weighed on sales to China. So it's a long way from just trying to make graphics better for video games to become the largest company in the world. I think what we're seeing here, Apple, where is its AI story? It has been so slow to get going, so it's lost a lot of momentum in this AI race. But Microsoft certainly seemed like it was on the front foot here. I think there are other factors at play. Just as we thought that maybe some of the shine, the market share would come off Nvidia, that's not been the case. It has been strongest in class against its rivals in the US. It's also stretched out its offering, not just around chips, very much going into the software stack. And to me, what I saw firsthand when I was in France recently, this whole notion of sovereign AI that you think would typically cut out at some American players with diversification is actually benefiting Nvidia because the homegrown talent can't do it without Nvidia. So the pairing or the partnerships with domestic players to create some sort of sovereign AI is bolstering that revenue and market share of Nvidia, maybe at the expense of other companies in the States, but certainly not in terms of Jensen Huang's offering here.
I think when it comes to the growth story from here, sovereign AI, clearly a big piece of it, and the deals we saw struck in the Middle East as well as in Europe, but also the big tech players. Looking at some stats this morning, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, and Alphabet account for more than 40% of Nvidia's revenue, and they're projected to put $350 billion into CapEx in the coming years. So
yeah, the rivals are hoping it's the irony, right?
Exactly. And these companies, which is why I think as we approach earnings season, in terms of what could catalyze Nvidia further, could be commentary from these big tech heavyweights.
It's all about how long the moat can last. It's kind of that simple, because this is, if you look backwards, oh my goodness me, it's a really expensive stock. If you look forward, actually, it's not. And I'll give you two measures, like on a price earnings ratio, considering this is like the biggest bucked company on the planet that everyone loves, 32 times. That's not excessive for a company which is potentially growing at light speed. The EV to sales, which is an important measure, you look backwards, it's 24 times. You look forward, it's 4.2 times as well. So the company this year, and I'm just having a quick look at this one, is expected to have, I think it's like $200 billion in revenue this year. So just on a revenue to market cap level, 4 trillion, 200, that's 20 times. It's not extraordinary for a company which thinks it's going to grow exponentially. I'll get to Dan Ives, he of the shut up from Elon Musk the other day. Well, I don't think Jensen Huang will be telling him to shut up, because he says a lot of very positive things. But, godfather of AI, Jensen and Nvidia become the first member of the $4 trillion club. But he also says we believe Microsoft will also hit the $4 trillion market cap club this summer. And then over the next 18 months, we'll be on the $5 trillion club. So for one, and he's not alone, Dan Ives of Wedbush thinks that this story's got a long way to go.
If I can circle back to your moat point, I think there are two elements here. One being DeepSeek, and obviously that was earlier in the year. Can we do this cheaper in terms of build compute power? Do we need the likes of Nvidia? Can it be done? And as soon as those solutions come to the fore and they're easy solutions, that could be a problem for the moat. So I think the Chinese are certainly working on some smaller options where you put a whole heap of GPUs together and you come up with the same ability to work with an Nvidia chip, very similar but at a lower cost. The other big killer part here could be the energy component. These are very intensive chips that are used from Nvidia. So if there is some sort of killer application on the energy side, that could be the other catalyst here for undermining Nvidia.
One thing that also comes to mind, a conversation we had earlier this week with Vlad Tenev, the CEO of Robinhood, and he was talking about what's driving retail investors right now. And they've been major players in Nvidia. And you say, Dan Ives calls Jensen Huang the godfather of AI. Mark Zuckerberg has called him the Taylor Swift of the tech world. And I think how elevated his profile is. What
he just churns out
hit after hit after hit.
None of which really kind of, it's not Bob Dylan, is it?
Well, you see him at
Steve, careful.
Tech events.
No, I love Taylor Swift, but it's not exactly stuff that's going to linger in your mind like Dylan or Springsteen.
I think there's millions of girls around the world who would disagree with you.
I'll take them all up.
Look at the reaction on the ground at tech events. People are lining up to have selfies with him, to have some sort of signature on a garment. It is very much like a rock star, but for a different audience, not the young Taylor Swiftie.